Hey everyone, here we have the Dell Inspiron 16 2-in-1 7620. Now, I'm generally a pretty big fan of the Inspiron 16 platform. However, Dell has made some interesting changes to it over the last couple of years since its release. And well, anyway, this is the 2-in-1 version that turns into a tablet. So today what we're gonna do is find out if it's any good, and if you should buy one yourself. Let's get some specs out of the way really quick. These Inspiron 16 2-in-1s can now be had for under $1,000, which is actually a pretty good deal, but we'll get into more of that later. This particular one comes with the 12th generation i7 processor, comes with 16 gigabytes of RAM, and a 512 gigabyte NVMe solid state drive that is upgradable. Benchmarks on this thing get somewhere. Let's go ahead and just scooch over to Geekbench here. We have a 2138 single core, 6397 in the multi-core, and then graphics, grab a 12596. Now, for those that are interested in what those specs mean, know what it means. So in typical fashion on this channel, we're not going to dive into what those the details of those numbers. Regardless, specs on this thing are awarded a 4 out of 5. LCD screen is a roughly 350 nit brightness. Some people have recorded screen brightness closer to 400s, other closer to 300, so there's a little bit of a disparity there. We got somewhere, I think, like 347. Anyway, it is a glossy display. It is touch, of course, because it is a 2-in-1 tablet-esque laptop. Very, very glossy, but because of its brightness is manageable under like bright sunlight and stuff like that. And it is FHD, so wish it was a little bit sharper. Color accuracy on it is phenomenal, as with most Dell panels. And blacks are very deep, whites are very white, not a whole lot of black light bleed. It is a pleasure to look at. It is not very fatiguing on the eyes. However, due to its FHD nature in this 16-inch frame, I just kind of wish, I don't know, it's getting to the point where we want something a little bit higher fidelity, especially for this price bracket. So LCD screen is gonna get awarded a 4 out of 5. Doesn't have any kind of nifty features like HDR support or anything like that. So frankly, if anything, we should actually, it's probably closer to 3 out of 5, but nevertheless, it's a good quality panel. Keyboard and trackpad on this computer are both awarded a slapping 5 out of 5. Keyboard is incredibly tactile, accurate, and responsive. It does have a backlight, and love it or hate it, it does not have a full-size numpad on the right. Some people seem to like that, other people don't. I'll leave that up to you whether or not that is a feature that's important. But nevertheless, it is a great quality keyboard. Everything just sort of seems intuitive and in place. Same with the trackpad. It is honkin' big. It is definitely rivaling that of the Apple MacBooks, and just in general, Dell did a nice job of changing the squishiness on it, so it's a little bit easier to manage when pushing down right and left clicks. And it's responsive, doesn't ghost, excellent trackpad. And while we're on this subject of surprising features of the Dell Inspiron 16, the speakers on this thing are finally friggin' awesome. Now they are advertised down here as quad speakers, but they don't say anything like B&O or Beats or Bose or any kind of nonsense like that. They just say quad speakers, and it shows. These speakers get incredibly loud. They have fantastic range in terms of the highs, mids, lows. That means they've got pretty good bass. And ultimately, they don't really distort, and they're going to be great for doing some like podcasting type work, some slight audio reproduction stuff. If you're editing maybe like a small movie or something on this laptop, you get the idea. The speakers on it are fantastic, and sure, if you want audiophile music quality, you'll need a pair of headphones, but nevertheless, speakers are gonna get you by. Like if you're like, let's say, I don't know, just kind of working on your desk, don't feel like whipping out the headphones, they'll do just fine. They may even be closer to the 5 out of 5 range, but given that they're not the best I've ever heard, I'm just gonna go ahead and arbitrarily say 4 out of 5. Anyway, good job, Dell. Basically, from the previous generation version of this notebook, they have improved the trackpad, the keyboard, as well as the speakers. So hey, at least they're looking up. But some things that they haven't improved upon are the features. Features are awarded a 3 out of 5 on this laptop, and that's because there's primarily none to speak of. It does have one of the best looking webcams I have ever seen on a notebook. It is better, frankly, than the MacBook Pro webcam. In fact, here is what that footage looks like now. This is a test of the Dell Inspiron 2-in-1 7620 webcam. And as you can see, the quality is absolutely phenomenal. This is actually maybe the best webcam I have ever tested on a laptop, and I think might even beat the MacBook Pro. So yeah, pretty solid. And the nice thing is that it does have a little privacy shutter on the top too, so no longer must you put a little sticky note on top of your laptop's screen to hide the camera. No, it's got that built in. It does have a backlight keyboard, doesn't have any meaningful HDR support, does have touch support, however, it doesn't come with a pen. It's kind of annoying. The Asus computers generally come with the pens. I like that. I really feel like Dell should just supply a frickin' pen, especially for the price tag. But nevertheless, it does have Dell's active pen support. It does not have a Windows Hello compatible camera, but it does have a Windows Hello compatible fingerprint reader, so you probably won't really miss that. As far as other features are concerned, comes with Bluetooth, Wi-Fi 6, this sort of general modern array of wireless technologies, and solid battery life, but we'll get into that a little bit more later. So, oh, and it has, of course, the blue light blocking screen on it too. So again, features 3 out of 5, better than 2 out of 5, but not quite as good as 4 out of 5. I wish that they just did maybe like a little kiss on the cheek, especially since you're eking towards the $1,000 price tag. Mobility on this thing, frankly, fantastic. Giving it a 4 out of 5. It's thin, it's light. I mean, not like super light, but for a 16-inch machine, it's light. Made out of fantastic materials. Hinge quality on it is very good, if not maybe slightly wobbly. Not as wobbly as the LG's, but nevertheless, still just a hair wobbly. But they are tight, they're metal, they're adhered into a metal frame, so you're not gonna have this nonsense like HP's have where like the plastic frame breaks off. So that's really, really nice. 10 hours of practical battery life. You can maybe get a little more battery life if you turn down the brightness and put it in airplane mode and that kind of stuff, but practically speaking, if you're using this for the features that most people are going to be using it for, you can expect about 10 hours of battery life. And ultimately, that's not too bad because that will get you around airports, in the classroom, and kind of around town until you reach a power outlet where you can plug this thing into, which can be charged with USB-C, but we'll get into that more of that later. So yeah, good materials, it's under 5 pounds. I think if you are somebody that needs like an extra big screen, 16 inches, but you like to travel or you're a journalist or something like that, you will find yourself very much at home with this particular laptop. Now, in terms of input and output on this thing, it is awarded a 5 out of 5. Any computer that adds Thunderbolt 4 on it these days is worthy of a 5 out of 5 rating. But it doesn't just stop there. You have a full-size SD card reader, you've got a traditional Type A USB port, super speed, USB 3.2, TRRRS headphone microphone jack, so that's cool. 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports right there. So that means you can daisy chain screens and external hard drives and all that good stuff. Another one of those Type A ports and full-size HDMI. Think about the only thing that it's missing other than Ethernet is the ability to charge on solar energy, because it doesn't. But it does charge on USB-C, which is an interesting departure considering the Inspiron 16 Plus still charges with Dell's stupid little circular port, which I frickin' hate. And I think they do that because of the because of the dedicated graphics card. However, we all know that you don't need 130 watts on one of their stupid proprietary ports. You can definitely use USB-C, even with an NVIDIA card. Regardless, I/O on this thing is fantastic. You will absolutely not want for more. If you are somebody that's a photographer or a video editor or something like that on site, you will be more than at home with this laptop. And frankly, that is who this computer is for. It's not cheap. So it's not gonna be for like an economy person or like a non-profit or somebody looking to save money. No, this is gonna be somebody looking for something a little bit more premium. Again, maybe like a photographer that often uses Photoshop on site. Load your photos in, use this beautiful screen to edit them. It's got enough horsepower to do all kinds of plugins, effects, etc. and so forth. You'll be able to knock out some very compressed 4K footage, some 1080p stuff, no problem. And as far as maybe like mobile podcasting is concerned, plug in a switch, some microphones, all that good stuff. Do some audio editing on here with no problems whatsoever. That is what this machine is for. It is basically a little digital powerhouse workstation with a couple of little extra luxuries on the side. Do I recommend this laptop? Absolutely. It is awarded about a 4.25 out of 5, which is an absolutely outstanding score. Frankly, this is actually one of the best laptops that we have reviewed in a while. I think the only kind of catch to that is maybe the price to performance ratio. Again, sub $1,000 is great, but make sure that you find it for sub $1,000. Anyway, great laptop. Just make sure that if you buy one, you update your drivers and BIOS and all that good stuff. Dells absolutely need to make sure you got those updates, and they don't really come with them. I'm trying to think if there's any nitpicky things about it that I don't like. Again, maybe LCD screen, but otherwise, yes, it's reliable, despite what some people claim on the internet. I'm not shilling Dell's. It is a good, reliable machine. We have sold quite a few of them and all with some good success. And I think if you buy it, you will absolutely love it. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us in the comments section. Please like and subscribe, and we will be back with another video really soon.